everybody, my name is Sean. I'm doing well, it's my car. It's a 1999 Mercedes SLK. If you don't know it, when you're looking for a part, it's all the way at the end of Mercedes. But it's a good car, I still like it. I'm going to show you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, so we'll talk about that first. What I'm doing is I'm going to switch out the alternator. And why I'm doing it, well, it's simply because of this. And this is a test that you can do too. Alright, here's the battery. Now as you can see, the car is running. So I put this on direct current, right, DCV, on 20, okay? And the reason being is because what we're looking for is over 12 volts. And you can see it really should be around 14. As you can see, it's supposed to be about 14, 14.5, something like that. And what it actually is 11. And it fluctuates from there. That means it's just running off the battery. It's draining the battery out for its power. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in there, and you need not a lot of tools. I'm going to tell you what you need because I've already looked at it. I haven't changed it yet, but you're gonna follow me on this wonderful journey on fixing my car. I try to offer a guy to come out here and do it. And he looked at it and he said it'll cost $250 or $275 to do that. And he has the parts. I'm giving him the parts and everything. All he's got to do is switch it out. $275, really? Really? I can go to the mechanic and do it for less. So anyhow, with that thought in mind, I'm going to go switch it out. I'm going to tell you all the tips and tricks because with this car, it's not as easy as what they show you on the internet. Okay, so here is the Mercedes Altenator 230 SLK or SLK230 Alternator. This is an 8mm nut. This is a 13, and the guys that go into here on either side are 16. Let's take a look at where we have to go. Okay, now I thought it would be best to go over the top. So I took this out, which I obviously have to put back in. And then here is where the Torx wrench needs to go. Now, with the socket wrench attached to the socket, it's almost impossible to turn it. But I don't know if you can see it, but this is kind of broken here. You probably can't see it, but it's broken here, which kind of indicates to me that somebody probably broke that so they can get the socket wrench and the socket inside that. This is really I don't know, it's really tough. Everything you need is from the bottom. So I'm going to jack up the car without that cat. It's a neighbor's cat, he keeps bothering me. Okay, I just wanted to give you a little tip. I don't know if you guys use ramps, but if you do, here's a little something, because a lot of times when you try lining it up, you drive up on it and then it's like the wheels falling off the other side. It may take a couple of tries, but once you get it, I'll tell you how you actually drive up it, which is simple, but still it's something that I think people should know. Alright, so I got this on both sides, as you can see, and they're even. I had done it without the bricks before, but this time I used the bricks because the bricks are giving me more space, and you see the dirt under there. It was actually listing into the dirt, and I don't want that, and I'm a big guy and it's hard for me to get under there. So how to get onto these ramps when you're driving towards them. You can't go really fast, but you can't go super slow. If you go too slow, the ramps are just going to slide forward, and you're not going to match them up evenly. So you got to go probably 10, 15. You'll know when you get into the cradle here, this part. Okay, there's kind of a lump here and a lump here, and you can kind of feel that. And how you line it up when you're driving is just follow one side. So I just aim for this one, and then of course the other one will come naturally. Alright, that's my little tip. Okay, so now what we're going to do is crawl underneath, pop the hood, because I need light from the top too. And I have some light underneath, so hopefully you guys can see. And then we'll get going on this. Okay, so this is, well, what this is it's the automatic adjustment for the belt. And this is the Supercharger belt. This is the one, if you were to replace it, that's the one you got to go for, the Supercharger belt. So I'm going to go ahead and put this little guy in here, and I may not be able to do it with one hand successfully, but I did. How about that? Let me move over a little bit. Okay, so that looks okay. Now I'm going to put the wrench in there. So at this point, what I'm going to do, and how I'm going to do it, somebody had chopped this out already for me, this section here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it into there and pop it into there. But to avoid a lot of cursing and such, I'm going to turn you off, and we'll go ahead and move this, and then we'll get to this part here after that. See, this is what you need the screwdriver for, is pop this guy off. Well, maybe not, I don't know. Hey, look at that. No screwdriver needed, it pops out. But on the new one, I broke one of these. So, anyhow. Alright, so this one's saying, please take me out of here. And I will do that soon. One of my biggest fears, or what I didn't really understand, when it came to loosening the self-adjusting belt on the Supercharger, what I didn't understand is that I thought I had to like unscrew that piece, like that piece was in there and then this whole unit would come out or something to that effect. Guys, it's nothing like that at all. It actually just bends. So here it is, it's holding the belt, and then when you turn that E10 Torx bolt, it just goes like this, like that. So don't worry about trying to take it out. It's just going to move the whole unit over to the left, which will take it, loosen up the belt, and then you can just take the belt right off. Oh God, I mean, when you don't know, you don't know. So now you know, and I'll show you again. Well, actually, we can go out there right now. That's all it does, it just goes down. Let's see if I can do it like this. Yeah, I don't think you could see very much, but that is all it does. And then that loosens the belt. That's it. Okay, so again, we want to take off, you know, the positive or the negative. I just like taking the positive off, because if I touch something and I ground it, I'm gonna get zapped. I don't know. I could be wrong with that. Okay, so I took one bolt out. It's the 16 millimeter. Okay, and that was here. This actually is kind of a problem, but it's not horrible.
The problem really is this hose, once you loosened up the second one, or what I call the second one because I started on this one. Well, actually I started on this one first. It goes all the way into this hose here. Now I gotta take this hose off, bend it back so I can pull this out. Then, this thing doesn't feel like it's even loose. So, that's another fun part that I have to do. But yeah, you can see the threads, but that's all you get out of it. All right. I hope you were seeing that. All right, once again, so right here, you can see the threads, but you're not getting much out of that. And this thing doesn't feel like it's loosening up very well. So I need a pry bar, and I'm gonna stick it under here and see what happens. All right, I'll get back to you with any more hiccups that I run across. Okay, so it wasn't easy to pull out. It was pretty easy, because what I did was I took this, a little crowbar. I think I got this at the dollar store, to be honest with you. And I stuck this part in here because it was able to get in there. And then the part that was hanging, this part here, I just kept tapping it with a hammer until it just kind of pried it out like that. And it fell right out. It was not so bad, actually. So, you know, everything works when you have the proper tools. So far, we're up to the sockets. My friend, the E10 Torx, this, and this. So add that to your arsenal. And of course, I have this to unscrew all the hose clamps. All right, back to work. Well, it wasn't easy at all to get this in here. This sucker right here, this bolt on this side, this one was easy because, as you can see, it's very accessible. But this one here, oof, that was a toughie. But there she is. Oh, she's so pretty. I don't know about you guys, but I love doing this kind of thing. I don't want to do it for a living, but at least if I work on it, I know what's wrong with it. So, yeah, I check, double check, you know, I tighten everything. So, you know, I know what I did is right. Another problem was getting this into this slot up here, and this is where I use the pry bar. I don't think I can get a good shot of it. There you go. This slot in here. Okay, this guy is a troublemaker. He's really, really hard to get in there. First of all, getting it out because of this hose. And then second of all, lining it up as it's going to the other side, lining it up with the hole. So here's what I did. I used a jack on a cinder block and I put it under there. Once I got it in, I moved the jack over and I jacked it up more so I had more headroom under here because it really was very, very tight for me. And I was able to jiggle it around until it actually took a bite. Okay, as I was looking at this belt, I can see that this is the belt, and it goes around this big guy right here, which is indicated right there. And here's the trick. It goes on the top portion it goes like so. So it wraps around this guy, and then when you go underneath, it wraps around this guy. And this is where the pulley is loosened. This is the tension pulley. Okay, so it goes around this one, and underneath it goes around this one, and then it goes straight down, and straight down is where the new alternator is, and then that goes around over the top, right? It goes around over the top and then back around here, and boom, you're done. Alright, sounds easy enough. Let's do this. Okay, we got the new one on. You will need somebody to pull this down. You may not, I don't know, but I found it was easier to go underneath and wrap it around the alternator wheel. I don't know. I just thought it was easier doing it that way. Anyhow, so I have my son pull it over this way, which lowers this down and gives me the slack that I need to wrap it under here. Basically, once again, it goes all the way around. This is the top. It goes around. It goes underneath this one. And then it wraps under, and then it goes up here and then straight down to the alternator, and then the other half of that just goes around this guy right here. Okay, that's it. I will leave the, well, maybe I'll do a PDF or something and leave it in the description. But yeah, you'll definitely need to do this. Just like this. Alright, so now the next thing is put everything back. It's basically this, because I was putting things back as I went. So I just got to put this back, put the battery back, and then we'll test the battery and see if the alternator really was the problem. Most likely it was, but let's cross our fingers. Alright, see you soon. Okay, so we got the car down and everything's put back. Let's take a look. Let's see how the battery is, and then we'll start up the car. Alright, so this is the plus, and this is the minus, and that's reading 1281. Okay, that's good. Alright, that's a 12 volt battery. Should read 12. Great. Alright, I'll just leave it like so, and then I'll go start it up, and I'll be right back. Alright, car is started. Let's plug it in. 14. Well over 12. It's not riding on the battery anymore. This is excellent. That was the problem. Thank goodness. Well, it was quite an adventure, but you know what? Again, I love working on cars. Well, at least my car. I don't know about other people's. And I had a great time. It was quite a learning experience. And guys, save yourself a bunch of money. Do what I did. You know, again, my loss is your gain, and you can learn a lot. All right, thanks again, and I'll hopefully won't have to see you soon. But if I do, I'll bring you along. Thanks again, guys.